A very pleasant good evening, Freeport, Grand Bahama, and all of our listeners and viewers all around the world. This is your girl Yams. He was gone for a short time, but now we back with it with another amazing guest here on Islandish Podcast on Superior Talk. If you have not already, subscribe below, hit the like button, hit the notification button to make sure you are aware of each and every time we go live right here in the Superior Talk studio. And I have here with me the lovely, the incomparable owner of Creative Eye Studio, Dadawn Charlton. Girl, how you doing, Cha?
I'm fine. Thank you for the long introduction.
Child, you know I could write your whole resume. This is, in my opinion, one of the most seasoned, one of the best when it comes to makeup artistry, styling, helping you put the whole look together, as well as when it comes to entertainment, from dancing, pageantry. Listen, Dadawn has done it all. Body painting, face beating, wedding, funerals. I don't think there's anything you can't do. I miss anything? Carnival, junk canoe, fire dancing. Listen, Dadawn has done it all. But I'll let her talk a little bit more. So my first question to you would be, what is Creative Eye? Where did that start from? And what have you been offering Freeport, Grand Bahama over the many years?
Wow, that's a very good question.
Mm-hmm.
What is Creative Eye? Creative Eye is actually my life.
Mm-hmm.
Creative Eye is who I am. Creative Eye was birthed before I knew what Creative Eye was. The brand name Creative Eye came about maybe some 10, 15 years after I was already in the business. After my family saw how it was growing and different things like that, my aunt stopped me and she was like, everybody knows Dadawn, but you need a brand name.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, Dadawn is a brand, but what is the name of the company itself? I said, you think I need that? I said, I'm pretty known on the island. She's like, yeah, but for people who don't know you from Grand Bahama, you need a social media name. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, let's think about it. And we kind of was like back and forth with it for a little bit. And I was talking basically about the way that I did things or the way that I saw things. And she was like, hey, hold on, stop right there. That's the name. Because I literally create things as I see them. So hence the name Creative Eye. Okay. So that's where the name Creative Eye actually came from, just in a general conversation, and it just kind of stuck and stayed.
That's how sometimes some of the best names has come to be, good conversation, sitting around, just talking about your talent. So that's good. What are some of the services that you offer here in Freeport, Grand Bahama? Because I know you don't just be here in Grand Bahama. One thing about you can hop on a plane and get to the money.
I actually leave tomorrow.
See? I knew it. So what are some of the services you offer as a makeup artist? Because I know Creative Eye is not just makeup. So what else? And what are the different services? And talk a little bit more about that.
Well, yes, Creative Eye is not just a makeup service, but the makeup part of the business overtook from so many different angles because of the variety of my portfolio in terms of body paint, as well as makeup applications. The range of makeup applications can vary. Some artists only have one style,
right? But
after doing this for about, say, maybe 10 years, the first 10 years of my career, then I decided to study it. And with me studying it, I now have about 15 different certifications under my belt. So the variety of different finishes increased. So I'm not an artist. Sometimes you have different artists that sticks in a box. So only could do, if I'm dark skin, I only could do dark skin people. No, you could be green, orange, blue, brown, black. Come to me, I could get that foundation correct. And it's not necessarily a challenge. Believe it or not, I'm a self-taught artist for the first 10 years. And I was teaching within that time frame already. But every year, I tend to go ahead and I just study and continue to keep up with my craft. Different from that, yes, I do travel locally and internationally through mostly pageantries and weddings. Funerals as well, but not so much. With the funeral service. But mortuary cosmetics is something that I did not study, but it's something that I learned through trial and error over the period of years.
Okay.
So that's when it comes to the applications within itself.
Okay, great. So with you saying, because I heard you say initially that you started the first 10 years you were self-taught. So around that time, what sparked you to, I guess, become an entrepreneur? Were you always an entrepreneur? Was this a side hustle? Explain that time period.
Oh, okay. So For those of you who are familiar with me, I was actually an entertainer first. Dance was my first love.
Okay.
So I've been in the theater from I was 3 years old. I was on scholarships for dancing from I was the age of 9. So my dancing career took me a very long way, and it still actually carries now. Most persons don't know, but I'm also a choreographer.
Okay.
I don't flex my muscles in that area so much, but when it's needed, I tend to pull it out. Anywhere from pageants, junkanoo, anything where it's needed, I tend to use it. Well, for the most part, with me being a solo dancer, a lot of people was able to see I could have done my own thing, and a lot of people was able to actually see what it is that I would do on myself. And they was like, boy, this really look good, this different, this however. And gradually people just kind of asked, and I just did exactly what I felt. Just like I said prior to, I envisioned different looks on people, and because I was kind of well known in the community at a very young age, being active in cheerleading, dancing, coaching, different stuff like that, also from high school, people kind of just trusted me with it.
Right. So would you say your interpersonal and social relationships helped you to start your major clientele when you started as an entrepreneur?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I was always very friendly, some might say feisty. But finding yourself, you go through different journeys and different walks, and believe it or not, some people be like, boy, I don't know if I want to work with her. And some people be like, yeah, I really want her because she's a tough cookie, but she gets the jobs done.
Right.
The job done. At this current point, I have 403 crowns under my belt in terms of pageantry. I have 7 first runners up and 3 thirds. I have probably like 1 or 2 dropouts too, like over the years. However, I'm a very tough coach when it comes to pageantry, but it's because of the passion that you have. I would tell anyone, when being an entrepreneur, if you don't have passion for what it is that you're doing, you will eventually quit, because this is not an easy journey, and it's not an easy task. The business is somewhat a glamorous one.
Right.
In terms of the illusion of what it looks like, but you have to be stern in what it is that you're doing, and your belief and your passion has to consistently drive you. Because I know what it is to go from doing makeup, bring your own foundation and powder, and I charging you $15.
Right.
So I know what it is. It's not like a microwavable, I guess I would say, makeup artist nowadays. You watch YouTube, you go search up this stuff, and then
You buy your products.
You buy your products, and you put $80, $100 on your full face or a glam finish. It didn't come that easy for me, because
Right.
I'm a little more I came in the generation of when social media was being introduced and the old school. So I kind of fall in between
Right.
both of the generations, I guess.
That's interesting. So now let's trickle all the way back, because I like the way that you said that. And that wasn't no shade to anybody. It's just that right now, in a lot of fields, when it comes to, especially I feel like being a crafts and being creatives, there's a lot of things you could go online and just learn how to do, from hair, makeup, cameras, editing, all of the works. So how did you even initially learn how to do makeup? Because YouTube is my parent. Like, that has teach me a lot. And you as well. And being in certain people makeup chair, you pick up tricks.
Yes.
But without the internet, how did you initially learn how to do someone's makeup other than your own?
This is actually a gift, to be honest with you. Like I said, creative eye, you have to see it
Right.
in order for it to unfold. I was always good with colors. Like in high school, you'd find some people who go with math, who good with language, or however. Art was like my everything. And you have some people who would be like, okay, well, oh, this is difficult, or that don't really make no sense. Where people saw it didn't make sense, I always made something out of what you would say is someone trash. No, I always saw it as treasure. So I used to take different little things, tie them together, plait it together, blend colors, come up with different colors, and see, I never saw people as just a person. I always saw shapes and shades, and people found it to be weird, but a lot of it, my family also didn't really understand. But I have 1 or 2 family members who always knew that I was different in some form, and they was like, it's okay for you to be different. You just have to continue following through that. Another aunt of mine was like, it's okay, just continue pushing. And through trial and error, I just continued doing it and tried a lot of stuff on myself, a lot of stuff on my family members, and also close friends of mine. And that's how it just kind of continued. I guess I would say a little extra. So with me having a big personality in terms of how I express myself
Right.
through fashion and stuff like that, people always trusted it.
Right.
And I was a stylist for many years. I also managed a boutique, Elite Loft and Elite Feet.
Yes.
And a lot of my, I guess I would say, higher end clients, they built a relationship with me throughout the time. And as you came in, let's just say a shoe store, I don't want to call any shoe store name, but let's say locally, you come into an average shoe store and you only come to buy shoes. They're not really worried so much about what else it would go with.
Right.
No, by the time you left Elite Loft or Elite Feet, what it is that I did, you was able to have your hair done, your makeup done, your outfit, your undergarments, your shoes, and the full nine. And so this is kind of where it started without, because of the passion that I have, it kind of started without me even realizing that it started.
Right.
But at that time, I just was following my heart and how I like to see people. And I used to just sit down and draw people like however it is that I wanted them. But that's how pretty much the styling and all that stuff kind of came about.
I love that. I love how it's organic with you. It's not where, okay, this was the fad right now and this what people was doing and I was keeping up with what. No, it's like, I like how it look. That's what can work. And it always pulls together. It comes together good.
Yeah.
So I love that. And so let's dive more into the personal a little bit. With your, what I know to be strong personality, do you feel like that caused you to make a lot of mistakes early on in your career, or is there any things that you regret or things that you had to change in terms of your personality?
Oh, most definitely. That's okay for you to ask because everything comes with growth. And if you don't have a story, you never have a testimony.
Facts.
And so I was not always spiritually led in terms of, the regular, you go up in church, you go because your parents tell you to go. And, well, not parents, well, my mom I came from a Christian home base and all that sort of thing. But at the same time, for me, it was you make it work however best you can and do what it is exactly that you had to do. Foundation starts from home and basically I took the bits and pieces of godparents, close friends, my personal home as in parenting, and I judged every aspect of my life from those different things. I would not say that it was always easy because I came from a single parent home. In terms of with my mom, a lot of things I personally did not have. And because I went to the elite, I guess what they would call the private school back in that time, what we would have is LIS now, I went to Sunland. But my mom was one of the school teachers.
Right.
And I didn't have a whole lot of things that people assumed that we had. Let's say if we're going to school together, by the time you see that again, you'd be like, oh, girl, that cute. No, that was yours. Your mommy gave that to your mommy for me to be able to have. And I'm petite, so I used to catch a lot of the hand-me-downs for a long time. And I had to make do with what it is that I had. So with me having personal insecurities, knowing that I wasn't able to always have, I came across a bit more feisty because I grew up around a lot of people who I thought had it, more or less. And I valued it as things that a lot of what it is that I didn't have. But as I grew, I realized that my family had a whole lot of what those people didn't have.
Right, the intangibles.
Which was, yes. And as I learned with having different challenges in terms of if you was good in this, you wasn't good in that, and it didn't really make sense. But the average person would say, no way this girl trying to make a whole life out of art. This isn't possible. This doesn't make sense. But I always kind of just followed through whatever it is that I believed. And through that being challenging, the feistiness used to come out because I was always passionate about what it is that I did. And I'm like, y'all stupid? Like, y'all can't see that? Like, how come y'all can't see that?
Come up a little brass.
Yeah. But it's also because I was trying to find myself. I didn't really understand myself. And then my father was very popular and he was a legend of his time, but I didn't really always have that father figure per se. And you trying to like find out things on your own or however, but because you gifted and you talented and you always in the forefront, everybody feel like, oh yeah, you could be this and you could be that or however, but they don't know what you battling with internally, So the growth was definitely needed. But believe it or not, it takes a village. At one point of my life, I was married and I was with my husband for 10 years and that relationship didn't work. But we have a beautiful son. He's 10 now. And a lot of the disappointments that I kind of went throughout that and growing and having to find myself, I dug deeper in Christ. And I would have to say, with the village that I came from or come from, along with friends and family, I would have to say it humbled me to a certain extent, and I find myself becoming better and better as time goes by. It's not a one-time shot. It's a growth process throughout the entire journey.
Day, all the time.
And you just have to kind of take your time.
I love that. I love that. So this is an amazing conversation, but we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then when we come back, we're going to dive more into the mind of Creative Eye.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jason.
And I'm Cheryl. Join us here on Superior Talk Bahamas YouTube channel every Tuesday at 6 for Let's Talk,
Where we talk about issues that matter to you. We try to come up with workable, practical solutions so we have more action and less talk.
See you on Tuesday.
And we are back with Islandish Podcast with the lovely Dadawn Charlton, talking all about Creative Eye and how she just has a mind and a passion for art. Now, being here from Grand Bahama, you talked a lot about persons you know, people just knowing your personality and that being kind of the stepping stone into your clientele. Are there any corporate relationships that you have right now that you would like to highlight, or any clientele you've had for so many years that has really been a pillar and a good resource and a backbone for your business?
Well, definitely. I would have to give kudos to BTC. BTC has been a client of mine for probably 17, 18 years.
Wow.
And I know that we have a lot of different companies now who are saying, oh, shop locally and small businesses and all this stuff. However, before I was even sure about myself, they saw the vision and what it is that I was doing.
Right.
And they always hired me for different stuff. And they were like my very first corporate company, and they're still clients of mine up to today. Now, okay, you have Alive, you have Cable Bahamas, you have Fidelity, you have Scotiabank, you have all these different corporate companies now. But to say, as I grew, they grew along with me, and I'm grateful to God for that, especially with them. You do have other corporate private companies that work along with me in terms of real estate and different stuff like that. Freeport Power is also another one, but I would find them basically with like individuals.
Okay.
They would start like with their staff, and then the questions would be asked, well, oh, who did this or who did that? And then the company itself would now buy into Creative Eye.
Right. Okay, I love that. So it's almost like persons referring you to the places where they work. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, she used to do my makeup, so if you want to do makeup for our shoot, this the person to go to. Good,
Yeah.
good. I should refer you like that too.
Oh, thank you, thank
Real,
you.
Like, and to be honest, and I liked how at first when we were speaking, you talked about different styles and different ways of doing makeup and not just having one look. No offense, that's one thing I hate about going to some makeup artists. No offense, everybody has training and has steps to grow, but I don't like, you know me, I don't like looking like everybody.
Yes.
I don't want you to do my makeup exactly how I see in the picture on you. I hate that. Is make me cringe, because I know everybody face different, and a certain type of way the makeup fall on someone else, it may look nice on them, but I don't mean it can look nice when you do it on me.
Yeah.
So when I sit in your chair, I need you to just know, like, hey, I wearing green, so my hair can be. Understand the assignment and
Yeah.
just do what you need to do. And I could always trust you to do that. That's why I'd
Thank
send
you.
anybody to you. Like you say, Caucasian, Black, Africa, China, I don't care. They don't can handle your face. Just tell her what type of look you want. Let her know your budget, and she can work it out. So with that being said, do you have a lot of young girls who want to get in makeup reaching out to you for mentorship, or is that something that doesn't really happen as often in the makeup artist scene?
You have a couple of people that do, but what I realize is because of social media now,
Right.
you feel like, I feel as though they feel they don't need it because they can always go to social media.
Right.
Like you had mentioned earlier, you have different face shapes, different eye shapes, different bone structures, different things like that. Not because you're looking for a look on social media and you're seeing it on someone else, not knowing what it would actually look like on you.
Right.
And they bring the photos and they was like, okay, this is what I want. The person has deep set eyes. You have full eyes. Clearly, this is not going to look like this
Right.
on you. And you kind of have to gauge them. But us as artists, well, them as artists, what I blame them for is they just do what the client wants, but we don't teach them as they go. For example, no shade, bank teller just is like the first thing that comes to my mind. I should not be looking at lashes when I'm at a counter that's out here, like you go into Junkanoo or you performing on stage like I do in a fire dance. It don't work. It don't happen.
Right.
And not because I'm an artist mean as though I had to come here today like I go in Russian on a stage or however.
jewels on your
Yeah,
eye.
it just does not make sense.
Right.
You will not go to a ball in jeans and t-shirt, right?
Right.
It's the same exact thing in makeup applications. You should have a day look. You should have a night look. You should have certain colors for different functions or different events. I also deal with a lot of doctors, judges, lawyers, different things like that. Certain colors are a no-no for them, first of all. But you as the artist have to also step out and let them know these things and teach them as they go. Because it's a great distraction.
Right.
And I've had people who have turned me down because they're like, oh my God, why you have to know all of that just to serve me? Do you walk into a salon and they automatically give you a weave? No, they have to find out if you need a treatment, you need a perm, you need a rinse,
Your
you
hair
need all
clean.
these stuff. Yeah, so
Right.
it's the same thing in makeup application or within the makeup artistry line. But if we have, as artists don't teach them these things, they would never honestly know.
Right.
And a lot of the younger artists probably are not also aware of as much season as you might say. However, a lot of them who are coming up now who find this to be cool or just because they like it,
Yeah. I good
they
at
don't
it, so
think
let me.
they need to take a class. Someone will come over here internationally and they'll run to sign up.
Right.
Oh yeah, this person, I could go Google them and go look and see. But they don't realize when that person comes, when I go away internationally, I'm sitting in these people classes and they have me at the forefront trying to get me to teach them something.
Right.
And it's like, y'all put me on the spot, like, really? But yeah, this is what it is because of the knowledge that comes behind it. It's not just for the glitz and glam. It actually takes a lot of studying, a lot of practicing, a lot of trial and error, and a lot of testing out for these different things.
I love that. And I like the way you said it because you didn't say it in a way like judging or saying like, oh, they shame on you. But it's more so like, no, come, like, you need to learn for real. And I've experienced that working closely with persons and weddings, and I know you will see it too. A bride will have a certain makeup look that she be like, oh, I want everybody's face to look like this. But like you said, some people have almond eyes, people have this type of eyes, and the eyeshadow, by the time she open her eye, you ain't gonna see none of that eyeshadow. So if you have the color only on the eyeshadow, it can look like she ain't have no face. Right. So it's all of those little things that a lot of persons sometimes don't know or aren't aware of. And I ain't gonna lie, that's one of the things I blame Pinterest for. People will go on Pinterest and get a picture and be like, I want to look like this.
Yeah.
But it's like, baby, you don't look like that.
Yeah.
You don't even have the base to look like that.
Yeah.
Which is really important as well. So,
And sorry, not to cut you off, you know what else is also a problem?
Yeah.
The terminology. Someone will call and say, oh, I want a soft glam. Okay. Do you know what all that consists of?
right.
Some people mean soft as in very minimal product, and some people mean a whole face with just soft colors.
Okay. Neutrals.
So you would ask bronze, browns, golds, or peach corals, or sands. It's like, I don't really know. You're just
Right.
saying it because this is something that you hear,
Right.
but not that you fully understand. I can take someone look for a natural look to look like you in a Dove commercial, or if you're just going to a day wedding.
Right.
And that's a big difference, but you're wording it the exact same way.
Right.
And the cost definitely is also different. You can get a makeup application done anywhere from 25 minutes or less, which is very fresh, very clean, very soft, very minimal. Or you can get a full-on glam trendy application, which goes with golds, bronze, and browns if you're more of a chocolate girl. Or if you're more of a sandy girl, you could go more of the sands, beige, peaches, and then you'd be able to have a balance. But a lot of people don't understand the different terminologies. And it changes different places that you go. For example, we're from Grand Bahama. And we have other people coming, let's say, out of Nassau.
Right.
And they'll say, oh, I want a soft glam. In their mind, a soft glam comes with highlight, contouring, and all this stuff. When you walk in Creative Eye Studio, that's not what it is. Soft glam don't come with all them stuff.
No, that's trendy, baby.
Yes.
I know the
Yes.
terms.
Yes.
As a
So
customer.
you cannot assume. And I've had people, I have portfolios. Some people are like, Well, she's still using pictures? Yeah, because we have power outages. We have where the internet is down.
Yeah.
We have all these different
Data
things.
run out.
So when you come, I need you to be able to have something physically to look at. Look at the face shape, look at the bone structures, look at the complexions. And sometimes I have the same application on like 4 or 5 different shades of people in there, so you could see what you look
Asking
similar
for.
to,
Right.
in order for you to be able to fully understand exactly what it is that you want. And they'd be like, oh, I never really thought about it like that, Yeah, this is why we're here, to be able to teach you.
Definitely. I love that. I love that. Now let's talk a little bit more about some of the different services you offer. You mentioned, I think it's called mortician makeup.
Mortuary cosmetics, yeah.
Mortuary cosmetics. That's what it is.
That's okay.
How exactly does that work? Because I feel like, for me, I feel like that's some scary type of work. But how did you get into that? How was your first time doing it? Like, talk a little bit more about that, especially for the girlies who are makeup artists who are thinking of getting into probably that type of service.
Well, how would I say? Mortuary cosmetics. I started out when I was young. I was talking to a guy who was a mortician.
Okay.
And he had to stop in at work to get something. He's like, come inside for a couple of minutes. I'm like, I don't have to come in now. I probably just like everybody else. I don't be around no dead people. So he's like, no, come. So when he took me into this specific funeral home, they had like about 6 bodies just on the table in the back.
Slabs.
And I just holding his hand like, if you let me go in here, I don't know why you tell me to come inside this place. And that was my first initial scare, because I was never in the back of a home or anything like that before. And believe it or not, that initial scare helped to prepare me, because 3 months later, one of my aunt's best friends had passed. And she was just like our auntie. But back in those days, it was when the electric blues and the orange and the hot pinks was out, and the
Yeah.
fake molds.
Yeah, the fake
And they
mold,
was like her thing. And they was like, man, Tony, she always like this sort of thing, and you always just do it for her, and y'all always have y'all to do going on. So I was like, boy, y'all, I know if I would be able to do it. So throughout trial and error, she was my very first corpse that I've ever done. And through trial and error over the years, I've just learned more and more and more in order for the bodies to look more lifelike as much as possible, and learning and understanding how someone decays, why they decay the way that they decay, depending on what the challenges are during the time frame that it's actually sitting on ice. If they're embalmed, how long they're embalmed for, if they have skin slip or anything of that nature, how to cover it, why you should cover it the way that you should cover it.
I did not realize all of this went into that. That's a lot.
yeah.
Now that I think about it, it's like, yeah, because people is die and
Yeah.
probably get scars on their face that the morgues
Yeah.
have to cover up.
Believe it or not,
Jeez.
the worst body that I've ever done was a body without skin. How? Yeah. So, a funeral home called shortly after Dorian. And I was one of those persons who basically lost everything out of Dorian. My dad had passed 3 weeks prior to Dorian, and I fixed him as well. Because clearly I was already in the game for a long time.
Right.
But they called and they was like, we calling for the doctor. So I was like, I think y'all have the wrong number. So I hang up on them like twice. And I'm like, this person keep calling back. I almost didn't answer the phone the last time. And they was like, this is Dadawn? So I said, yes, this is Dadawn. I said, y'all keep calling this number. But the person was asking for a doctor. So they was cracking a joke, and they was like, yeah, we calling you because only you one could fix this. You got to be the doctor
You're
in
the
this
doctor.
situation. So it went like completely over my head. I didn't realize when I first had answered. But we had a lot of cases in Dorian, and I worked with a couple different homes around that time. And because of the salt and the water, the skin left
Right.
the body. And so there was one particular lady, they thought that she couldn't have an open casket. And everybody was like bawling out, screaming. It was so sad. And I was like, I'm not driving. Clearly, everything is in shambles. Now, if y'all could come for me, I could see. A lot of stuff got damaged, but a lot of the things that got damaged, I saw what I could have salvaged, and I started to create a new makeup box for mortuary cosmetics, because the one that I use on living, I don't use on them.
Right.
So y'all don't ever have to worry. But like if I put,
that's a good note to know. What you using on the deceased?
Yeah.
Ain't going on me. Okay, good.
Yeah. So no, I have different kits for different applications. So by the time I was finished, they were not able to cry. They were not able to do any of that, and I just was like, Lord, please help guide me through this because when I put the makeup on the body, it would not stay. It's like oil on water. And I had to pray, and I was like, Lord, just how I didn't know before, I need you to give me the knowledge. And I just start mixing. I start mixing, and by the time I was finished, when I first started that lady, people thought that was a man. By the time I was finished, they could see clearly it was a female.
Wow. Wow, that's great. Because I feel like that, especially Mortician Cosmetics, that's like real family. That's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
people is end up like really loving you for letting them be able to see their loved one look as lifelike as possible for the very last time. So
Yeah.
you're definitely doing the Lord's work with that area of it. And
Thank you.
God's willing, I don't need your services no time soon. My parents all in good health. So, but you know you'll be the first person I call for anything I need. But we're going to take another commercial break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk more about the lovely Dadawn Charlton, Creative Eye, and the amazing things she is doing for the makeup industry.
Yo, what's up, Bahamas? My name is Andrew Williams, aka Cat,
And I'm your boy Mix.
and we're representing Off the Bench, the number one talk sportcast in the Bahamas.
In the world, my boy.
My bad partner. So
Yeah.
we cover anything sports throughout the Bahamas. We cover our Bahamian athletes wherever they are, and they're making waves in sports. We cover them.
Hey, just tune in. That's every Wednesday here on Superior Talk at 6 o'clock p.m.
The number one talk show in the world.
The world, Craig.
Okay, and welcome back to Islandish Podcast with the lovely Dadawn Charlton. We're going to dive into our comment section a little bit, see who is tuning in. You know who that person is? Eisenhower Williams.
Yes.
Center. We
Yes.
danced. Okay,
Yeah.
take you down memory lane.
Yes.
I just was talking about that today. That place is called the Susan J. Wallace, but it's the teen center
Yes.
for us who know.
Yes.
Big ups to my mommy. Hi, mommy. She's saying hi. Okay, Cranston. Big ups to Cranston McDonald, created by CMP Connect. All right, look at it. We have Ken Ron, the big Ron, DJ Ron. Okay, he's saying hi as well. We got Jimmy. Big ups to Jimmy. Jimmy was my second guest on the podcast.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Small
cool.
worlds. And then, of course, we have Mr. Anderson, Alfred. We have an amazing project coming up, by the way. Between me, him, and Dadawn, we can work this out for November. Big rollout coming out. Big ups to my baby Shockwave. Big ups to Shockwave Entertainment as well. Love to see it. Love the support. Man, some good comments. Okay, so we have some people tuning in at home. That means the conversation is clearly good. So let's dive a little bit more into that and talk more about the entertainment side of Creative Eye. Now, me and you have worked together in the past on a few different projects, as well as helping you with your business, with marketing and things of that nature. Now, with you doing things like body work and working with Carnival, what are some of your best experiences so far, especially on the Carnival side of things?
Body paint wise, I would say the best would be Albany
Okay.
and Bahama.
Okay. Nassau.
Because clearly they don't cut back. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
they cut that check. Right.
So I actually met an amazing artist. His name is Monty Knowles.
Okay.
A more mature, older Caucasian Bahamian guy. Throughout travel, I actually met an aunt just off dressing up. She told me about what he did. I shared a little bit about what it is that I did, and she was like, "Really?" And I was like, "There's only one person in the whole Bahamas who I would like to learn from," not knowing that was his aunt. And she gave me the number, and she said to call him. So 3 weeks later, I waited for some time to pass, and I gave him a call. He's like, "Sure, no problem. I could teach you." However, so he never gave me a budget as in a cost. So I went to Nassau expecting to learn from this guy. And by the time I walked into it, I was walking into a Live's grand opening. And I went from coming to learn how to body paint for a class to doing body paint for
an event.
And he's like,
And that was big.
"You said you never did this before?" I said, "Well, no, I never did your style of body paint before." However, because he has a signature look. But I was used to being able to create like Beauty and the Beast or like different stuff. Whatever came to mind, wings or some avatar looking something. And I just used to be going off the top of my head. Like I said, it was a gift.
Right.
And I had some little friction, when you come and you have other assistants and whatnot. They're like, "Where she come from?" Because most artists in my field don't look normal.
Right.
They're very different. A lot of piercings, a lot of tattoos, and so it was like, this girl up the wrong place. I'm like, no, sweetie, I had to learn how to paint. And he left the room. He sent her out to get some coffee and cookies and stuff for us or however. And by the time I came back, he did one portion and I was finished a half of a body. And he said, hold on now. You did this in the space of the time frame that I left you. He said, anyone help you with this? So I said, no. So he said, oh, hold on. Let me do another part and see if you could be able to do it. I said, well, where I'm from and where I work, I'm a one-man band. So I know I have to be able to get these things out in a moderate time frame. So he's like, really? So he started laying girls out on the table. And I think it was like 8 girls, and I ended up doing like 4 or something of that sort. And versus me, like I said, God was in the midst again.
Right.
I went there expecting to pay him, and I left there with my own money, with him paying me.
Right.
So I was like, okay, cool. And that has been some 8, 9, maybe years. And basically took it from there. I'm his assistant whenever he have the different functions and events in Nassau. He flies me in and I go back and forth. And all of the big parties from Tiger Woods and other persons who have homes out in Albany, I end up supervising the functions and events. I carry some girls from Grand Bahama for them to have experiences, like different models and stuff. The last person I think I took with me was Siobhan Nodded. She's also a professional model. And I've had her from she was about 13 or 14. So basically it trickles down, and as I grow along, I try to carry people along with me for these different experiences. Over the period of years, like I said, working with Monty, he would put me on to other function and events, and through over Paradise Island, there was 1 or 2 different events there as well, and that's how it kind of continued. And then other persons here, we don't have so much high-end events or parties
like
that's
those.
needed in Grand Bahama, but I have done it to private functions here on the island with creating different things for high-end clients as well. They like it, but it's also something that you must pay for.
Yeah, it's very costly, which is understandable. So let's tie a little bit more into that, especially in the type of market you're in, because no offense, and probably it's not even an offensive thing to say, getting your makeup done, for some people, they look at that as luxury. That's not something that they think is like, no, baby, you need to do your makeup, you know? Like, I've had situations with clientele who tell me, okay, I want to do a brand photo shoot for my brand, or I can just put on some eyebrow lashes. I say, Miss Mom, no. If you don't go to Dadawn or someone and let them do your makeup, probably these are your brand photos. So with that being said, and talking about the economy in Freeport, do you see somewhat of a decline when it comes to persons reaching out to makeup artists or seeing the need for makeup artistry?
Well, yes and no.
Okay.
Depending on how you sell yourself, I would have to say I'm grateful for the community of Grand Bahama. Being extra, a lot of heat has come with this, guys. Being extra, a lot of heat has come along with it, but with me being the way that I am, a lot of people was more trusting.
Right.
And so people spread the word for me. May it be a good conversation or a bad one.
Right.
At the end of it, they could be like, boy, she gonna have you looking tight.
Right.
So I use that as positive energy the entire time. Once you're talking, that's advertisement for me. So I kind of use that as my gauge, and I kind of just went with it. I didn't allow it to like break me. You know, you can have some challenges in between, but to continuously keep pushing and keep moving forward. And that's how I basically just continued on doing. And the more I did, the more people saw, and people's like, you really have to do all of that? But I like that though. I like that. You think mine can come out like this? Yeah, but these would be the steps that you have to take in order to get it to look this way. Only so much a photographer could do in terms of editing and different things like that. And so in terms of like having behind the scenes, you don't want to look a certain way in your video.
Right.
And then you look finished only in your pictures. You would want to do some selfie pictures while waiting for your finish images edited from the professional headshots or whatever it is. And so when I sell it to them that way, they're like, I didn't really think about it like that to that extent.
Yeah.
But because social media is taking over everything,
Right.
they're living, it's a good and a bad thing to a certain extent, because with me doing this, believe it or not, with me being an artist, I always tell people the beauty starts from the inside. And it's not only what's on the outside, but the outside is just a finishing, polish touch. At the end of the day, you can't look so polished, and inside is just pure garbage.
Fuck. It has come out.
Yeah.
It's
So-
leaked like bad garbage.
Yeah. So to me, at the end of the day, I try to sell it whereas they fully understand it. I personally still somewhat old school. The app thing, you cannot have a relationship with your client like
Right.
that. So
Right.
I talk to them, I let them understand what it is. And because of that version of old school of me, that works.
Yeah.
Because
that personal touch.
yeah, when you have a more mature corporate lady, majority of my clients are corporate individuals, and you sending them to an app, these people stand up in your shop with their credit card, their funds, and they saying, I want book an
Or
appointment.
you have to go on the phone. I can send you the link or that.
Yeah.
Money can walk out
No,
the door.
yeah, and they just fine, and they just walk and come straight to Creative Eye Studios.
That's
I'm
it,
open.
that's
I'm
all.
okay. I'm okay with that. Yes, and I welcome you, and I deal with everybody the same. But Creative Eye Studio is also a place whereas when you come there, you're able to USA. For those of you who have came in the studio, you would see the purpose of it looking like a house is intentional because you unrobe when you're at home. I need you to be as comfortable with me as possible to get the best version of yourself.
Right.
And that could be from a mental place. I've had people come and sit down and be like, girl, I couldn't hurry up wait to get here. Where I could just take this wig off, put this on the
Yep,
side.
put that wig on the
just
side,
breathe.
just
yeah,
let me do
just
my face.
Yes.
I may snore.
Yes.
Right.
And that's a part of what it is that I'm trying to do. But if you don't keep that connection with your clients, they will never feel that comfortable to
Right.
do so if they only could reach you through an app. If you want to make changes, you can't speak to the person. If you want to enhance something or ask a question, or you have to go and fill out this form and make this change on this date or however, that's good and I'm not knocking it, but you have to have a variety. Depending on choosing your audience is what's most important. And
Definitely.
a lot of time you have, and I'm not insulting any young girls who beat it bad, going to the parties, the clubs or however, but if I could get a government official or a corporate person who has meetings and functions and events, going to government house and all these stuff, these people automatically have to have a schedule.
Right.
So I can need that whole schedule.
Yep, that's big facts.
I can need that whole schedule. So you have like 3 to 5 appointments at a time, ahead of time. So I'll be able to situate myself. And because we have that relationship, they trust it to pay it ahead of time.
Right.
Just a portion. And they know once you pay that portion, that half down, you will lose if you do not carry over that appointment.
Right. Understood. You explained that so eloquently, man. Without being
thank you.
rude. It was so good. All right, so we're going to take our last commercial break, and then we come back. We're going to start to wrap up this amazing conversation we're having with the Dadawn Charlton.
Greetings and welcome to Superior Talk Bahamas. My name is Yvette Swain, and I am here with the Sword Sharpeners Prayer Network. We meet every Monday at 6 p.m., where we dive into the Word of God to see what He would say to us. You are welcome to join us. That's every Monday at 6 p.m. here on Superior Talks. God bless you, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.
Yes, we are here on Islandish Podcast with your girl Yams, with the lovely Dadawn Charlton, and I can talk her business for 2 minutes. Let me tell you all how I meet Dadawn, okay? I meet Dadawn. I hear going from tomboy Yams, okay? I trying to do this pageant for the first time, right? This Miss Junior Grand Bahama. I gone in the pageant, right? I think you was the makeup artist for everybody. You had to do all of the contestants. You had to know our final looks, all of that. Good. I win the pageant. Good. I win the national title. Now I getting ready to go Nassau now, right? They take me by Dadawn shop so she could give me some, makeup tips and stuff like that. Tell me why I come in Dadawn place not looking like no one child. Dadawn look at me and say, you forget you have Title A. You can't be walking around looking like this. You supposed to be Miss Junior what? Looking like this? And you got to go Nassau. Them Nassau girls can eat you up. You need to be, come. So she showed me how to do foundation, showed me how to do lash, showed me how to do, like, when you're wearing these colors, you wear this. If you're eyeing up all of this, do a nice little nude, simple lip. Don't put no black liner around your mouth. Like, she give me all of the tools. She say, don't go Nassau looking no kind of way. Them girls coming, so you need to be ready. And I walk away Nassau with the title, so that must be with some good advice. But I have to say, like you said, like, your personality is strong, but it's strong and it comes from a good place. And it's never too much. And I feel like, for me personally, being that young, I needed to get my head in the game. And I needed to understand, like, no, babe, a lot of people not only just rooting for you, but they're expecting you to do really, really well. So you got to be ready and know that, yeah. And they was ready for me when I got Nassau. They was like, oh, yeah, that Freeport girl with the crown come in. We got to be ready. So that pep talk was literally what I needed to, like, put that battery in my back to know, like, okay, we come in Nassau to win.
We ain't coming to play.
We ain't coming here looking for friends.
They say coming for blood. When you see she coming for blood.
Listen, I came with all the guns blazing. I win almost every category. But I have to say, like, the work you've done with pageantry and with a lot of the different models, a lot of us around that time, you turned a lot of us little gooses into real swans and ducklings who really grew to be I would say, some of the more beautiful women in the Bahamas. I looking like, but no, for real. And it all goes from the reason why I feel the need and the importance for mentorship a lot of times. And a lot of persons like you, I ain't calling you old now, but
fine.
You are older than me, and you have been in not just the pageant industry, but been someone who has a strong personality, knows a lot of people, works with corporate as well as private, and is a entrepreneur. So you have a lot of lessons and tools and things that you can pass down and are willing to pass down to people with just ask. So with that being said, are you someone who is open at this point in your life and in business to mentoring young persons, whether it be young girls, young guys who want to learn about makeup and different things of that nature?
Yes, actually, that's a very good point that you made. I don't do it very often, but I have had different artists. They don't necessarily give me the credit,
right?
But they know that they have learned a lot of stuff from me, as well as I actually used to go into. I had a girlfriend. Her name is Linda Malcolm. She passed some years ago from breast cancer. And she had an organization called Pinktober. For most of you who may know, my mother is actually battling right now. And at that time, she was battling then as well. I didn't know anybody who actually battled. And just because she was my girlfriend at the time, and a lot of things that she was doing, I used to go into the children's home, and I actually used to teach the young girls there at the children's home how to take care of themselves, give them little tips on whatever they had access to in terms of material and product and different things like that. So the mentoring had started many years ago, but just I would like to capitalize on it a little bit more. But I also go through my church as well. Big up to Universal.
Hey.
Yeah. So I do share a little bit more from the younger groups as well when we have youth different experiences. However, I come in as a guest, even though I do attend the church, and then I also do it with different parties and brunch and different things like that through different churches for older women too, because what happened is now the lifestyle has changed so much in terms of how to carry yourself. A lot of what it is that I do stem from hygiene, not just makeup itself. So basically, you would be surprised to know how many women don't know about certain things pertaining to the body. You can't put makeup on top of a dirty body. You have to know where these things should stem from and how and why. It's very important, and the importance of it in order for it to be able to make sense when doing other things. So basically, I don't have a problem with it.
Okay. That's good.
I just need a bigger platform.
Yeah. And I feel it's, I think, like you said earlier a little bit, or you started to touch on it, almost like the generational gap. Because I met you, like I said, literally I was fresh out of high school, first year of college. And that was a really pivotal time in my life. That was me transitioning from being a child to now you growing into a woman. Like you 17, 18, you wearing bikinis for the first time, you wearing heels, wearing makeup, all of that stuff now. And having someone like you and like big ups to Colette Parker, the whole team right there who were the ones behind Miss Junior Grand Bahama. That was a good little resource for me. And that really helped me to grow and blossom and learn how to speak and carry myself. Because listen, you could rock and wear your makeup a certain way. People will feel like you was VIP. High key, like it's happened to me so much. And people always used to get on me when I was first moved to Nassau from Freeport. He's like, oh yeah, look at the Freeport gal. She can have her makeup do every day to college. Yes, I will. I can look beat. I can look good. Because why? They can ask me to speak. They can ask, oh yeah, go represent the school. You have to look like where you want to go. Right. And I learned that being around you, especially with makeup and hair. It's like this the smallest little details you could change. Remembering to put on eyeliner when you wear the mascara so you don't just look like long lash and no base. Like different little small things like that really do set you apart from other people in the room, and makeup has become a bigger deal now than what it used to be.
Oh, don't worry. I'm very happy that I made the transition when I did.
Right. Yes.
Because honestly, I'm probably like one of the Grammys out of the bunch.
Right.
Now, based on artists that we have here.
Yeah, makeup
in Grand
artists
Bahama.
now, you are the most, probably the oldest
I
and
probably
most seasoned. Which is good. Like, like a lot of them are done with this by a certain age, but you have been, in my opinion, extremely relevant. People always trying to book you, whether it's for balls coming up, weddings, this and that. It's like, if you want it done properly and you want to pay a good price, go to Dadawn, because it ain't going to be cheap. It ain't like beer. No, this is champagne over here. You have to have the champagne money, but it can taste good and you can get lit.
And you can sip on that long.
Like, trust me, Dadawn makeup is be on me the next morning. Little bit on the pillow, but majority it's still on my face.
Oh,
and
Lord.
I have to say, you've done some amazing work. You've touched a lot of lives here in Grand Bahama.
Oh.
But what is the future for Creative Eye? How is that looking? Do you want to touch on that a little bit? Where do you see it going from here? Or what more things you want to dive into that you haven't yet?
Okay, well, to be honest with you, Creative Eye is in transition right now. I made a very big decision to close the doors of Creative Eye Studio, the physical studio. I am now working out of another person's space, which is a salon space. I'm working on creating another space for myself because I could not wait until I got in a deeper hole.
Right.
Because of my personal responsibilities in terms of taking care of my family and having to deal with an ill mom. So I made some changes and I'm in transitioning now. But in future, surpass the changes that I'm making now, Creative Eye, I'm expecting to have a mall and I'm expecting to create my own makeup line.
I love it. That's what I was waiting to hear.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I have been working on my makeup line with a company called Dadawn for quite a few years now, but life has been lifing.
Yeah, do that.
And I've already had a show. I think the show was some years ago, whereas I displayed the makeup and everything, and a lot of people didn't realize that it was actually my brand. But within this being the second time of my mom's battle, I had to put some things aside.
Okay.
In order to be able to make the wiser decision, because at one point I was dealing with both of my parents. God rest his soul, my father passed away. And life was just, it had its ups and downs. And I had a son, well, I still have a son, but who I had to deal with at the time, however, and still be able to take care of myself. And so a lot of those things I had to put on the back burner for a little while. Even though I'm taking, it feels like steps backwards, I feel as though God is still preparing and working on doors that are going to open further ahead that I probably can't see for now. But I'm happy at the same time that it didn't work out, because believe it or not, the summer that I came back from Canada, the company is in Canada, I already chose containers, bottles, you name it. A month or two later, if I had had that inventory, Dorian was going to take
wipe it away.
Everything. When you see some things don't work out, don't question God.
Yeah.
When I sat down and I thought about it, I say, Lord, I so thank you that I didn't have all of that inventory, because what was I going to do?
Yeah. Once you did lose that, that was it. That was the product.
That was it. And so I said, God knows my heart. He knows my intentions. I've never stopped going at it. It's going to take some obstacles and it's going to come. But through it all, I never forget Christ in nothing that I do. And I've just been consistently doing that. I was also a makeup artist that never really worked, out of a salon space with other artists.
Yeah.
And I've always worked pretty much by myself. I collaborated and worked along with different stylists and so forth, but for the most part, people always said when they walked into Creative Eye Studio, it felt like they was in New York, or they felt like they was in a whole different part of the world.
Right.
And that's what I intend to do when Creative Eye be finishing another couple
Big ups.
weeks. Yeah, we'll be back smoking again, so you would be able to have your get dressed with me. There's no business like Creative Eye anywhere. I think in the Bahamas.
I don't think. Yeah, I think.
I
you
think
really
in the
stand alone
Bahamas.
in that.
Yeah, because
You have the shirts, you have the bags, you have
yeah,
the makeup,
you have from
jewelry.
the full nine. Basically, you can get dressed with me. You can shower, have your undergarments, and I'll take it from there. You leave from Creative Eye Studio
Ready to go.
and you head straight to your functions or your events. And even when we have guests, international guests come in, or celebrities or however, people like, girl, all of this happening here, like, we don't have this home. Like, you need to come back where I from.
Right.
Or something like that. I'm like, no, if everybody go, who could
Who
be
can
here
stay?
for us?
That's
you
it.
know? So I'm continuing on with building that from a very small scale, and I intend to have a staff that also will help me to continue create once I do get into that building, because I put in the air that building is coming.
that building coming. And
Yeah.
I can be right there at the
Yeah.
grand opening.
So I am blessed, and I'm putting it in the atmosphere that eventually this will be my legacy that I would leave behind, and this would be the future that and the beginning of what life could be like for my son.
Facts. So let it be written, so let it be done. I love that. I love that. And I could honestly see that happening, definitely for you. We have a saying here at Islandish, it's like, we don't want nothing microwave. We want a pea soup. Pea soup is take long to make. But once you make that big pot, you can eat on that for a long, long time. So we don't want nothing instant. All things are a journey. And you go through things only to come out bigger and better. You know what I'm saying? So I know this will never, ever be the end for Dadawn Charlton. As long as you have the little man over there, you can keep on striving and you can keep on doing some amazing things. But let the persons know as we start to wrap up where they can reach you, how they can contact you, and how they can collaborate with Creative Eye.
Well, basically, it's very simple. Facebook, IG, TikTok. My number is 441-6162. You can call me direct. I'm never too busy. I would always give you a call back. You don't have to speak to an app. You can actually speak to me live in person on the phone. You can always reach me. For those of you who are looking for me currently, who would need services right now, I'm still downtown, but I'm working from Untangled Beauty Salon, which is 3 doors up from where Creative Eye Studios used to be. I intend to be there for a very short time within the transition once the new location has been completed.
I love that. Man, Dadawn, it's been an absolute pleasure. Happy I finally catch you and get you in here.
It's been a while. You're trying to
it's
get
been
me a little
minute.
while.
But I am very, very happy you were able to come in and speak. We do have some amazing projects in the pipeline. Your girl, you're supposed to do a little rebranding project. I have the lovely Creative Eye on board. I'm also going to be reaching out to Studio A. You also saw the interview with him. If you haven't, make sure you go back and watch it. And as always, make sure you're subscribing to Superior Talk right here on YouTube as well as on social media. Follow Islandish 242 as well so y'all could stay in the know. Vacation over, so we got a lot more interviews to do, a lot of great things in the pipeline, but nothing was better than sitting down talking to my amazing friend Dadawn Charlton. Thank you so
I
much.
appreciate that.
Y'all make sure catch us on the next episode of Islandish Podcast. Catch you later.